Welcome back to the channel. Liam here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about street photography. Now, I get emails and DMs on a regular basis from student photographers, amateur photographers, hobbyists, stuff like that, asking me because one of the genres that they're interested in that I also do is street photography. But I get a lot of emails and messages asking how they can get into street photography if they're shy or they're not comfortable out in public and things like that. So I want to share some of my tips with you today for how you can get into street photography if it's been a struggle for you. With a lot of different genres of photography, and street is no exception, you have to be able to get outside your comfort zone. So let's go over some of my recommendations, and I apologize for the mowers. I'm here at Chapel Park again in Elmira, New York, or Southport, I should say. But we're going to go ahead and talk about this, and I'll share some of my sample images with you, and then we'll go on from there. And hopefully by the end of this video, you'll feel a bit more confident in your ability to go out and do street photography as well. Okay, so one of the first things you're going to need to do in order to do street photography, I would say successfully, is first you got to pick your camera setup. Now, for my main shooter, I have the Sony Alpha 6100, which is a APS-C crop body camera, and I have it paired with the Viltrox 23mm f1.4 for Sony E-mount. Now, the reason why I went with this lens is because the Viltrox lenses are excellent image quality, have excellent image quality, contrast, sharpness, all of that, and they're a lot cheaper than the native Sony glass. Not that I'm picking on Sony or anything like that. I don't want you to think that. But if street photography is something you're getting into new, you don't want to spend a ton of money on a lens that you may not end up using because things just don't work out for you in your adventure in street photography. Now, the reason why I go with the 23mm, if you've been following this channel for any amount of time or listening to my podcast, in my opinion, the best focal length to do street photography is 35mm. Now, this is a 23mm lens, but keep in mind it is on a crop body camera. So that means well, you take 23 and you multiply it by 1.5, which is the crop factor for this camera, and you get 35mm. So this is, in reality, a 35mm full frame field of view. Now, some people do prefer to go with a narrower lens for street photography, and some people prefer to go wider. Two more possible lenses that you could go with would be a 28mm and a 40mm. But again, I prefer 35 because that's how the old school street photographers in the film days did it. They did it with 35mm, and they were using 35mm full frame cameras. But here is another lens by Viltrox. Now, this one is a 28mm f4.5, so that would work for street photography because you generally don't need a lot of light gathering capabilities, so you don't need a ridiculously wide aperture. Now, the nice thing about this lens is it's extremely compact and very low profile, and it has a built-in lens hood that you open and close just by flipping this slide. So that can be extremely convenient. Now, if I was to take this lens and put it on my Sony Alpha 6100 in place of the 23mm, and let me get it lined up here. All right, so now that we have the 28mm Viltrox mounted on the camera, you can see how much smaller of a profile it is. This lens would give you a 40mm full frame field of view on a crop body camera. Or you might want to shoot a 28mm if you're using a full frame body if you like the wider field of view, and then 40mm on a full frame body if you want the narrower field of view than the standard 35mm. But the idea is you want to keep your camera setup as compact and unobtrusive as possible. That will make you a little bit more confident, more comfortable out doing street photography, and you won't draw as much attention to yourself if you're using something that's more compact and less obnoxious looking, I guess I could say. Another possibility is, and I talked about this in a recent video that I did, where I did a review of this product, but this here is the Insta360 Go 3S Retro Edition. Now, this camera would be great for street photography because it has an optical viewfinder that is a top-down viewfinder. So overall, the camera itself is very unobtrusive, being it's so compact and tiny. But if you're shooting at waist level, looking down through an electronic viewfinder, then generally to people on the street, you're not going to seem as threatening or intrusive or whatever word you want to go with. So I would definitely go with one of these two options, especially if it's your first time doing street photography and you're a little bit nervous about the whole idea. Now, another tip I can give you, tip number 2, is find something in your local town, like an event of some kind, that's a public event that you could go to and photograph street photography style at that particular event. Now, a good example in my area, in Roxborough, North Carolina, in the uptown Roxborough area, which is the older side of town, they have these food truck rodeos during the summer, where various food trucks come in from out of town, out of state. They park in the uptown Roxborough area. The police close off the streets, and they have like a little bit of a food truck rodeo / festival. And there'll be people there with arts and crafts booths set up, selling various arts and crafts, knickknacks, t-shirts, stuff like that. So it's a good opportunity to do street photography, to practice it. And the reason why I say that is because if you're at a public event like that, people are going to be more comfortable with the idea of you running around with a camera because of the fact that it is a public event. And you may find out quickly that there are people that'll want you to they'll ask you to take their picture while you're out at that food truck event or some other outdoor festival, and you're walking around with your camera. Now, in the example, I'm going to share some of my images with you. In the first one, I photographed one of the owners of one of the food trucks as he was looking out the window where he normally takes customer orders. So you can see that there. He gave me a nice not over the top smile, which worked out perfectly. And I think that made for a really compelling and strong image. Next, I have this young lady who asked me to take her picture. She was at one of the arts and crafts booths, and you can see from her t-shirt that says "Knit Happens," her booth was all about knitting and crocheting and things like that. But she asked me to take her picture, and she gave me that beautiful smile and the peace symbols, which I thought was really cool. The next one I have, these 3 girls also asked me to take their picture. They saw me walk around with my camera and they wanted to pose for me, so they struck that pose and I went ahead and snapped a quick shot. And of course, I shared these on the Roxborough, North Carolina Facebook group so people could see them afterwards. Now, the next one I have is also from uptown Roxborough, but this is from a day when I was just out doing general street photography on my own. I was shooting with one of the Fujifilm cameras I was using at the time. I think it was might have been the GFX, or no, wait, no, I'm sorry. It was the X100V. So I was using the X100V, which comes with a 23mm f2 lens, which again is 35mm full frame equivalent field of view when you're talking crop body and then converting to full frame equivalent. And this gentleman was on a phone call. I gave him an indication, asked him if I could take his picture. He nodded yes, and I snapped that one. This one here I took while I was in Georgia. I was actually in Sparta, Georgia, which I visited quite a few times during the years I lived in Georgia. That town is what sparked my Forgotten Pieces of Georgia project series. But this gentleman was just relaxing on the side of the street at the top of a small set of stairs, and he asked me if I'd take his picture, so I went ahead and snapped this one. And you can see this is more of a candid shot. He's not smiling, it's not posed or anything like that. Next, I have this one of some gentlemen that are painting the outside of a parking deck in downtown Atlanta. Now, this one was taken back when I worked at Pier 1 Web Hosting and in the Centennial Tower building, which was near Centennial Olympic Park from the Olympic Games in '96, I think it was. So I snapped this one of these gentlemen as they were painting. This one is from a Laotian New Year's festival that I attended when I lived in the Atlanta area. And I shot this young man just sitting on the porch of this building while I was at the festival. And I do like to do some of my street photography work in black and white. I do color as well. But a lot of times I'll shoot raw so I can edit it whichever way I want afterwards and then decide how I want to present the final image. Now this one's another one from when I worked at Pier 1 Web Hosting. This gentleman was playing his trumpet on the street, and I went by and took his picture, and he gave me a tip of his hat as he was playing when I snapped his image. This one here is another one of people that are painting the outside of the parking deck. This is at a higher level. This is the parking deck at the building I worked at, and I shot this one from inside the parking deck looking out through the opening to where he was with the paint roller. This one here is a couple of my co-workers when I worked at Turner Broadcasting on the NBA League Pass project. So I just snapped this one as a candid one while we were outside taking a smoke break. And so those are some of the shots I've taken street photography style with people. And then, of course, I'll share some of the ones, just standard street photography shots of some of the murals here in the Elmira area that I've captured while I've been up here, both with my Sony 6100 as well as with the Insta360 Go 3S Retro Edition optical viewfinder camera. So either one of those will work. Now, in order to get over shyness, it's going to take you some time. Not everybody is immediately comfortable approaching people on the street and asking if you can take their picture. I am very comfortable doing that. I have a good rapport with people as a general rule, and I build rapport very quickly with people. So it doesn't usually take much for me to approach somebody on the street and ask if it's okay if I take their photo. The way I look at it is they'll either say yes or they'll say no. And if they say no, it's not the end of the world. I move on to the next scene, maybe the next person, whatever the case may be. So that's the second tip, or third tip, I should say, is to just go out and be yourself. Try to build a little bit of a rapport with the subjects that you want to photograph, if they are people, if you want to do street photography portraits. Just be open and honest with them. Don't get right in their face with the camera. Don't be carrying around a big, long lens. Those get obnoxious, and people tend to be turned off by that kind of thing. So you want to keep all of those things in mind when you're out doing street photography. Now, tip number 4 is just drive around the general area where you live and look at cool things that you can photograph if you want to photograph street photography without people, because you don't have to have people in your street photographs. You can go out and shoot like a railroad depot in your town because you like trains and railroad cars and stuff like that. You could find beautiful murals like I did up here in Elmira, New York, that you could photograph, or cool buildings that you find interesting. You could do that as well. Or you can include people, but just shoot from a distance. Maybe shoot from across the street and just get photos of people as they're going about their day. I used to do that a lot in the Atlanta area, and I highly recommend that as a way to kind of dip your toes in the water of getting into street photography. Now, my 5th and final tip for you, and I kind of alluded to this a moment ago, is don't get discouraged. Not like I said, not everybody is going to be a master street photographer their first time out. It takes years of practice, and it takes time to get comfortable, especially if you're not as open a person as I am. You don't build rapport with people virtually instantly like I do, then yeah, it could be a little bit tougher for you, but don't be discouraged. Street photography is a wonderful genre. It's one of my all-time favorites, and I've been doing it for many, many years, but you can get into it as well. Don't let anything discourage you. Don't be afraid to get outside your comfort zone. Try something new, whether, like I said, it's street photography with people, without people. It doesn't matter. Just get out there and do it and enjoy yourself. All right, that's going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch it to the end. Please remember to smack that bell and subscribe button down below, and share this video out on social media and elsewhere, and ask your friends that are photographers to give it a look and listen. I would greatly appreciate that. And also keep in mind that there are no wrong answers when it comes to street photography. Now, if you want to pick up the 23mm Viltrox lens, I'll give you a link in the description down below, as well as a link to the Insta360 Go 3S Retro Edition camera. If you want to pick one of those up and use the waist level optical viewfinder, that may be a big help for you as you start your adventure in street photography. All right, I will see you all in the next video, and make sure to keep clicking away.